Making a persuasive presentation. Many of us are involved in our day-to-day work in selling our ideas to others in a group. In other words, we're required to make a persuasive presentation to put across our recommendations that need to be adopted by that group. And we need to be able to do this well because we normally only get one chance to do it right. Here is a 10-step process to follow to make a good and effective persuasive presentation. Firstly, open up the presentation by presenting an overview of the presentation. Introduce yourself, your job title, the topic, what you're going to be speaking about, how you're going to be presenting, for example, with the use of PowerPoint slides, how you would like to take questions in the presentation or at the end of the presentation. My advice would be at the end of the presentation. Having given the background and the context to what you're going to be speaking about, step number 2 is actually explain what is behind the presentation. What is the issue that you've been looking at? Why have you been looking at this issue? Why is it important to look at this particular issue? What is the history behind it? And give this valuable piece of context. Step number 3, then outline in detail the needs, the problems that currently exist and their impact on customers, the organization as a whole, you and your team, yourself as an individual, and what is the downside, the risk in terms of the current situation and the impact of the situation, and why is it therefore important to resolve the current issues that exist. Step number 4, explain the possible solutions and options that could be adopted that would overcome these particular problems or address these needs. Go through perhaps the first 3 as less preferable options and then dwell mostly on the 4th perhaps, which is the best option and the option that you want to sell because it delivers the most benefits. Step number 5, spell out those benefits. Is that because this particular option is less riskful, it delivers a better performance, it's easier to implement, it results in the best monetary outcome for the organization. Be clear, therefore, on selling the benefits, the what's in it for them as an audience. Step number 6, detail what needs to be done to deliver that particular solution. How will the solution work? What's the process? What will it entail? Who will it involve? And what will be necessary to move this particular plan forward. Having got this far, then recap and summarize and restate what you've covered so far. In other words, the context and the background to the issue, the needs, the problems that exist, and why they exist and the risk of them, what it is that are possible solutions and options, why you have chosen one in particular because it delivers certain benefits for the organization and for the group of people in front of you. Then ask, step number 7, for any questions that the people might want to put to you. Handle these questions and objections. Step number 8, ask people then, what do you see as the next step? In other words, how are we going to move things forward? Step number 9, agree these next steps. And step number 10, follow up and follow through on the delivery of what happens next with people's commitment and buy-in to actually start work on the solution that you've sold to the group.